Jay,
Yes, baby.
I got a question for you.
What is your question?
When did you fall in love with poetry?
When did I fall in love with poetry? That's a deep question. I guess the so I fell in love with the process of poetry when I was writing my first poem, but when I actually fell in love with poetry was when I wrote my first poem and performed it in front of a sold out crowd of probably like 1,000 some people, and I got a standing ovation. That's when I fell in love with poetry. It was at the Bird Theater in Carytown. Um, it I can't really explain it. Like it was it it's hard to explain, but like the feeling of getting the reaction from the crowd, and then after the show people was walking up to me, it just that's what I fell in love with, the reaction of people hearing what I was saying. Why do you ask?
Because you ever seen the movie Brown Sugar?
I have.
And said her question was always when she was interviewing people.
Yeah.
So when did you fall in love with hip hop?
Yeah, I remember that. That was my favorite part of the movie.
So the reason why I asked is because poetry is a different type of lyricist.
Mm-hmm.
Even though some people say that it mimics rap or hip hop whatsoever, it's still a different form.
Yeah.
And the love that you have for poetry, sometimes you got to express it. So that's why I asked.
Yeah. So the what you mentioned is very key to a lot of the process that I do, because I'm a huge lyricist as far as like I love wordplay, and that's what I try to implement in a lot of the poetry that I do. Even if it's something meaningful and that means something to me closely, not just a poem that I'm writing because I got a topic I need to write about. I have to write poetry from a certain place. So when I do that, I implement the lyrical side of me, because a lot of people, they just do poetry. They don't like to rhyme. They like to talk about certain subjects because they know that the crowd is going to be into it. And no shade of any other poets, but I'm just not one of those guys that's going to talk about like sex or like, because everybody can write about sex. I can write about sex too. I've wrote certain lines in some of my poetry about sex, but I'm not going to write a full poem about sex because I feel like that's going to take away the intimacy of whoever I was intimate with. And you know what I'm saying? I just didn't want to do that. But yeah, the lyrical aspect of it is very meaningful to me.
So last question.
Okay.
In 5 years, where do you see yourself as a poet?
Oh, wow. That's deep, because I was just having a conversation with Narrator. And if y'all don't know who Narrator is, tap in with him. He's one of the top poets here in Richmond, Virginia. I was literally just having a conversation with him because, how can I say this? I feel like poetry is always going to be a part of me. Always. And I feel like I'm always going to make time to write. I feel like I'm always going to make time to perform if it makes sense. But the age I am now, at this time of this recording, I'm 39 years old. I'll be 40 in about 2 weeks. I have to have some type of monetization with my poetry. So if it doesn't make sense, aka dollars, at the same time, it has to make sense first. And secondly, it has to bring in some type of income for me. And if it doesn't do that, I honestly don't know. That's the God's honest truth. I don't know where it's going to take me or where I want to be in 5 years with it. So I have to honestly say I don't know. But what I would want is some type of way to perform, maybe on a weekly basis, maybe on a monthly basis, where I ain't gonna say we, because you asked about me, where I get paid somehow. And I'm not just talking about selling merchandise. I'm talking about being booked for shows, maybe put my poetry out in a book form. I don't know. But that is a deep question. I just don't have an honest answer. It has to make sense first, and then it has to make dollars secondly. And that's just the God's honest truth.
I got one more question, and then we can end it.
Okay.
Of all of your poems, what would be your favorite?
I have a couple of.
Nope, you can only give one.
Oh man, that's kind of hard. Well, because they all mean something different. I'm gonna do one, and then I'm gonna do an honorable mention. I know you said just one, but the first one is Pistivity, and the reason why Pistivity is because that's the poem I was talking about in the beginning of the video about me performing, and I got a standing ovation. That was the first poem I ever did, and the honorable mention is the one about my daughter because, like,
what's the title?
It's just timeless at the end of the day. Like,
what's it called?
It's called shit. What is it called? I'm not gonna lie. So it's Pistivity, and then Conversations. That's what it's called. Conversations, because the way I wanted to write the poem is a conversation I wanted to have with my daughter. So yeah, Conversations. I think that's the name of it. If it's wrong, I'll put it on the screen with the title of it. But it is out on all streaming platforms. The Evolution of JGott.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we could have this conversation I just sprung on you.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Very interesting. I didn't know you was going to do this, and I like doing stuff like this.
All right. You want to close out?
Thank y'all for watching.
Maybe you'll add a poem at the end. You got a video that you can add at the end?
I do, but I want to do that for a separate one because I'm editing the videos now. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right.